Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the group exhibit Hydrogen, Fuel Cells and Batteries here on the Hannover Fairground in 2018. I invite you to sit down, order a drink and enjoy the next interview. My name is Falco Haag and I will lead you the next 20 minutes through our following talk. And our interview partner will be Mr. Lukas Rohleder from the Association Energy Saxony e.V., a network consisting of research institutions, innovative companies and more in the whole renewable energy sector. And as managing director, he has the overview of all the development in Saxony that is connected with renewable energy innovations. And Mr. Rohleder will now speak with us about his network and the innovation cluster that concentrates on green mobility solutions that are made in Saxony. Please welcome with me Mr. Rohleder. Please have a seat.
Thank you. Thanks.
And to the audience, if you have any question during our talk, just raise your hand and I will come down with the microphone to you. Okay, Mr. Rohleder, can you just describe shortly what are the aims of the association in general?
Yes. Thanks. First of all, I'm glad to be back here at Hannover Fair. For myself, it's the third time to be present on this stage. We as an association have been around for many more years as part of this joint group exhibit, which is just a clear demonstration of the importance of fuel cell and hydrogen technologies in Saxony. This year, we are here with 8 partners as part of our joint booth, and I think many of you will agree with me that currently we are in a definite upcycle in terms of fuel cell and hydrogen technologies, and we see that in terms of visitors at our booth, in terms of interests in what we do, and also in the activities that we see in Saxony. Our association, Energy Saxony, was formerly known as Fuel Cell Initiative Saxony. That is quite some time ago, though, and about 4 or 5 years ago. Sorry, you wanted to interrupt me.
No, because of the history, it's really interesting. I found out that you started 9 years ago with the Fuel Cell Initiative already. I guess you already wanted to tell us something about the member structure at that time and how it looks like today.
Right, exactly. The thing is that just focusing on one technology is not going the entire distance, since you're all familiar with what we're trying to achieve in Germany to decarbonize the entire industry, everything, our total lifestyle. So we changed our name into Energy Saxony to show that everything related to energy can essentially be sourced from our home state, that we are a very research-oriented federal state in Germany that provides solutions that are to be applied across the world. And so that's the name change, and that's why we include many more technologies, starting from any kind of energy storage, be it batteries, be it heat storage, be it electromobility and energy efficiency. Anything related to sustainable solutions in terms of energy is part of our network.
But fuel cells are still part of the network, and for all the wide range of your members, what do you offer them?
Well, a good cluster organization is present at such successful events as this one right here, which we do, as I said, on an annual basis. But first of all, we try to bring benefits to our members on a day-to-day basis. What does it mean? Business opportunities, linking together our members with companies and organizations from abroad, not just from Europe, but also globally, find business opportunities and also innovation partnerships. So third-party funded projects. So we're looking at funding from our state of Saxony, from the federal government in Germany, as well as on a European level, trying to get partners together and then, advance the products available to further the business. So that's just let me say to you. You mentioned we have a broad range of members, but we have a clear focus on SMEs, and it is the benefit to the SMEs that we bring in also universities and research institutes, but in the end we focus on the SME per se to enhance their business.
Okay, so the small and medium-sized enterprises is one of your focus, and you show some exhibits on your booth. What can you present? Are there is this also from such small and medium-sized enterprises who is present here?
Yes, definitely. Come and join us later. E49. What you will see there is a just newly founded company that are providing, for example, phase change material as terms of heat storage. Most of you are familiar with water-based heat storage systems. They are big and their duration in terms of storage is not well. So we have a salt-based PCM storage system on site. You can look at it there. We have different solutions in terms of hydrogen storage, be it in a sponge form construction, or be it in a paste like toothpaste as a storage for hydrogen. You can have a look at this. You can look at a newly developed electromobility concept, which is modular. You have a 3-seater that can drive by itself, but you can also combine up to 8 of those 3-seaters to have it drive together to use up less space in inner cities, all run on electricity. So that's just a few of the things you can see and that are developed within our membership.
Okay, now I understand the big range of the members. Now let's talk. You mentioned just with your 3-seater a little bit more about green mobility. What is the innovation cluster HZwo and how is it connected to Energy Saxony Association?
Thanks. We definitely need to change the name again. I am just getting aware of that. HZwo is a German term for H2. But it doesn't translate to English right away, so we need to change that. But what we're doing is quite interesting. Saxony is known for its advanced automobile industry. We have production of Volkswagen, BMW, Porsche, and lots of companies, supplying those big OEMs. And we all see that the combustion engine is around. Definitely it will be around for quite some time, but we need new solutions. That's why we see the change of interest towards the fuel cell cars also, and fuel cell mobility in general. And we want to enhance that by providing solutions for all kinds of mobility, be it train, be it trucks, be it commercial fleets, and this is what we're developing as one part of this innovation cluster. So powertrains and fuel cell for mobile deployment. This is one part. That's not our part. This is colleagues from Chemnitz, the Technical University of Chemnitz, and the Fraunhofer Institute, IWU, also based in Chemnitz. We as Energy Saxony are the second pillar of that innovation cluster, and what are we doing? We are developing use cases for green hydrogen in Saxony. Something everybody's talking about, but we are also convinced that it's possible today to identify the low-hanging fruits where really green hydrogen is ready for a market, and to develop this, to enhance it as much as possible, and then be able to just plain scale, you find different use cases later on. So where are we starting? We're starting out with trains. You see lots of development in Germany and in Europe for fuel cell trains, but almost all of them run on gray hydrogen. What we try to achieve is have them run on green hydrogen from the beginning. And so we have lots of interest regarding this. And once we have that in place, we're looking forward to develop more cases like in industry or other mobile solutions. We even have an interest from the agricultural sector, where we have these large agricultural companies in East Germany and also in Saxony. So a lot of land, and if those companies produce wind and solar power, biogas, you have the energy base on site, but it's volatile. And if you then use electrolysis and a storage system to have a autonomous energy system at this farm, it becomes very attractive. And what are we doing? We're trying to make it work on this small scale, and then also find the technical application in terms of agricultural machinery run on fuel cells. And that's something which is not really seen in the market, which we are developing to have, for example, tractors on fuel cells.
Okay, I now understood that the innovation cluster develops the use cases and the knowledge about that.
Right, that's the case. And if you've done it once, you can replicate it at other points, and you always need to showcase to move it further.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And now Energy Saxony also contains a work group that is called Intelligent Mobility. What happens there?
Yeah, well, it's one of our 6 working groups that we have as an association, and the one on intelligent mobility is actually the basis for the innovation cluster that I just talked about. So what we're trying to achieve is bring together the experts of certain topics, develop common projects, which then lead to things like the innovation cluster. We have other examples, projects out of our working group Grid and Energy Storage, where we are looking at digitalization of the energy sector. So how to effectively use flexibility to have load shifting systems in the industry, for example, that are beneficial to how the electricity grid is run. So such projects come out of our working groups and are of benefit to our partners, and that's along the entire energy value chain. Heating and cooling is just another example where we're active in terms of projects.
Okay, great. You already gave us some examples, but maybe also from the viewpoint of an end user, can you already give us some examples which green mobility solutions come out of Saxony?
Yes, I've mentioned what we're trying to do in terms of fuel cell mobility, but Saxony, given that we have the OEMs there, are focusing a lot on e-mobility per se. Volkswagen will develop its one big plant in the city of Zwickau to become entirely a production site for cars. So the new kind of cars that are developed just per se to be electric. Currently, right now, we already have the e-Golf Volkswagen production in Dresden with the 70 cars per day, so smaller scale, but the rollout is definitely there. And what we already have today is BMW production of the i-Series, i3, i8 in Leipzig. Also, Porsche is looking into more e-mobility production in Saxony, and that's actually just the tip of the iceberg, because there is so much that attributes to that development, and also on the municipal side, our capital city of Dresden is the elite city for autonomous mobility, where they combine all the knowledge for 5G technology, sensors, to really be a good showcase to combine the knowledge in terms of e-mobility and autonomous driving. So we have large variety there as well.
This is really interesting, because I know Dresden very well. Can you give us an outlook what will happen in Dresden maybe in the next years? How will the green mobility solutions spread in Dresden itself?
I hope we'll see an application of all the things we just discussed, I guess. We are known for having a very well-run public transportation system. And if we are able to reduce even more the carbon footprint of the mobility that's happening, even better. I think it's a good model site in terms of size, in terms of geography, and I mean, you mentioned it. We are trying to be one of the lead cities in terms of autonomous driving. We have the e-mobility productions there, and what is also very interesting to see is that the companies that we have, like Volkswagen, they're investing in startups to have also the innovation that is coming out of our many universities and research institutes, to have that feed into the big players, and I think that's a very fruitful combination we have there in the city.
That sounds great. One question that I have personally in mind a long time, because since 3 years I am driving an electric speed pedelec that goes up to 45 kilometers per hour. What do you think? Why does green mobility concentrate so much on this electronic vehicles that are equivalent to existing cars? I mean, the passenger so cars for 4 or 5 people. I mean, there are so many intermediate steps between the e-bike and the e-car, like, for example, electronic mopeds. Why is the advertising or the public awareness so much on this big electronic vehicles like we have there with the big Mercedes?
Well, it's customer demand, right? And I think I would dispute that a little, given the large sales figures for e-bikes, just bicycles that are sold with a battery connected, and it is just amazing to see how that is also furthering the prices for lithium-ion batteries. So that's a big development there, and I think the real change will come when we really have autonomous driving, because then it is really just about going from A to B, and then I mean, if you like the sun, you choose something that you sit on and in free open space, like a motorcycle, and if it's raining, you have something that is able to carry 1, 2, 5, 10 people. We see those developments happening. You know, vehicles that are driving autonomous in the city, adapting to the consumer need, and I think we will see much more happening. And I think it is happening right now, but yeah, I would say that it's going in all the directions you mentioned.
Okay, great. Maybe very short. Do you or which conclusions do you make regarding the strategy to support communication and networking, like your association does, connected to this wide open technology range inside of the association? Is this a good thing?
Well, actually, it is, because the hurdles that we have to overcome in terms of reaching an energy supply that is fully sustainable, you have to combine people from all different backgrounds, come to new solutions together. It is difficult at times, because you need to satisfy a lot of different ideas and expectations, but you know, that the complexity is something we have to get used to, and you have to learn to appreciate the complexity in the energy system. There are no easy solutions anymore, and once you've reached that step, you're aware that classical utilities have to talk to startups, that you know, companies that are used to be active in burning coal now need to focus on digitalization. Those connections have to be made, and that's what we are there for.
Okay, nice. Thank you for this conclusion. And to the audience, you can find Lukas Rohleder and the whole network, Energy Saxony, or a part of the network here on the fair at booth number E49. Thank you for joining us here, and thank you, Lukas Rohleder, to giving us this interesting interview. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and the next program, the next interview on stage is here. We will welcome Mr. Ross Bailey, the Vice Chairman of the Canadian Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Association. And he's also CEO of Greenlight Innovation, and he will talk about he will give an update of hydrogen and fuel cell activities in Canada. So stay tuned and see you there.